Hi everyone and welcome back to Next Generation Business School, where we empower future leaders in business and finance. My name is Amisha Kulu and on this channel we dive deep into accounting principles, tourism accounting, financial management, business strategies and economics insights. So stay tuned and let's unlock top strategies to help you excel in your studies and future career. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more valuable content. And remember, every expert was once a beginner, and with the right knowledge and determination, definitely you can achieve greatness. Your journey to success starts here, so let's get started. In this lecture to our comprehensive guide of recording journal entries and calculating gross profit, we want to have more training and tutorial with together about the merchandising activities in the tourism and hotel management and also hospitality accounting. Okay, in continue to our comprehensive guide on recording journal entries and calculating gross profit for Mayton Retreat Lodge, in this tutorial we walk through the various transactions, various financial transaction or economic scenarios that occurred during the current year and show you how to accurately record them in the journal. We will also calculate the gross profit for the year based on the provided data. And let's get started to have a quick rundown of the task ahead before going into details for each transactions one by one. Okay, in general overview, we want to start with November 5, when Alpine Adventure Lodge booked a reservation for adventure enthusiasts. The invoice amount of $14,390 for lodging and guided excursions, and the cost of services provided is $8,105. In the next economic scenario, on November 9, the lodge purchased new outdoor equipment on credit mode from the Swiss Alpine Gear Corporations. So the purchase of outdoor equipment take place. And the purchase amounts equal 3,800. In the next economic scenario that took place on December 5, the lodge received cash payment for the group reservations and the amount of received is $4,390. In this economic scenario, cash payment for reservation take place. Next, on December 9, the lodge settled the debt out to Swiss Alpine Gear Corporation for outdoor equipments, and the payment amount is $3,800. So, in this case, settlement of debt take place. And finally, in scenario in relation with December 31st, physical count of equipment and supply take place. The physical count is equal 182,080 and the accounts record shows inventory value of 183,790. Also the cost of goods sold equal 695,222. So the inventory adjustment take place in this scenario. Let's see with together what task should be complete in this tutorial. There are generally two tasks for this tutorial. First one is prepare journal entries. The next is calculate gross profit. In the first task, to prepare journal entries, we will create journal entries for each transactions and ensuring they reflect the large financial activities accurately. In the second task, for calculate the gross profit, we want to using the given data and we will prepare a partial income statements to calculate the large gross profits. And our information shows that the net sales for the year equal 1,024,900. But what is the importance of doing this task? In fact, The importance of doing these tasks is the importance of accurate financial records, where accurate recording of transaction ensures the financial health of the lodge properly reflected. Also, understanding and maintaining accurate inventory counts are crucial for effective financial management, and furthermore, calculating gross profit helps in evaluating the lodge profitability and operational efficiency. In fact, by the end of this tutorial, you will be equipped to handle journal entries and gross profit calculation like pro, and ensuring your financial records are both accurate and insightful. So let's dive into the details and solve this transaction step by step with together. First transaction take place on November 5, where Alpine Adventure Lodge booked a reservation for a group of adventures enthusiasts and invoiced them $14,390 for lodging and guided excursions. The lodge's record indicate that the cost of providing these services amounted to $9,105. As we know, when the selling takes place in the merchandising company, we need to record it in two levels. The first level is in relation with recording the revenue. The first level of recording, this is in relation with revenue. And the next level is recording of the cost of services. So the first one is related with revenue, and the second one is in related with the cost of services. But what account we should to use for the first level of recording? There are two accounts that should be used. First one is account receivables and second one is sales. In this case, the account receivable increased because the lodge expect to receive $14,390 from the groups. So $14,390 is received, and we expect that this amount will receive in the future. So one account is used because the reservation take place. Reservation is the same manner with account receivable and also on account and on credit mode. So whenever you see reservation in the questions or tutorial, please be careful that this means that on credit mode, and we should use account receivable or payable with respect to the different conditions. In these conditions, we expect that we will receive this amount in the future, and we should need to use account receivable as well. So the account receivable is increased. The account receivable is increased, and the account receivable is belong to the assets. So increase in assets account and accounts receivable as well, consider as a debit by 14,390. Also, sales is increase. Sales or service revenue. This account increase because the lodge has earned $14,390 from the booking. So the amount of sales also increased. We have experienced two increase in these two accounts, but the first one is debited. Same amount is credited for two different accounts. Don't forget that we are acting under the double entry record role in the accounting. Let's go to the next or level 2 recording for these sales. For next level, in fact, for recording the cost of services in merchandising company, we need to use the account with the name of cost of goods sold. This account also increased because the lodge has incurred cost of $9,105 to provide the services. So cost of goods sold is unlike with sales, because whenever we experience increase in cost of goods sold, we should consider the cost and expenses as a debit. But for sales or revenue, we consider them any increase as credit. So for the cost of goods sold, we consider increase. The amount is $9,105. So $9,105 become debit for cost of goods sold. For the next account, we should consider inventory. This account decreased because of cost of providing these services reduced the inventory by $9,105. In fact, we need to take the goods from our inventory and sell it to the customer. So the total amount of inventory is decreased. Inventory belongs to assets accounts, and decrease in assets accounts considered as credit. So same amount in double entry accounting rules considered as credit for inventory. In fact, by debiting cost of goods sold, we record the expense incurred in providing the services, and also credit inventory accounts reflect the reductions in large inventory due to the service provided. For level 1 here, by debiting accounts receivable, we indicate that the lodge is expecting payments from the groups, and crediting sales reflect the income earned from the booking. In summary, on November 5, economic scenarios, Alpine Adventure Lodge recorded revenue of 14,390 from a group reservations, and the cost of providing the services at $9,105. These journal entries ensure that both the income earned and the expense incurred are accurately reflected in the large financial records. Accurate record keeping is essential for maintaining clear financial pictures and making informed business decisions. On November 9, Alpine Adventure Lodge purchased new outdoor equipment from the Swiss Alpine Gear Corporation for $3,800. That is the subject of our next economic scenarios. Let's see it together in detail. What should we have to do in next economic scenario? Okay, on November 9, Alpine Adventure Lodge purchased new outdoor equipment from the Swiss Alpine Gear Corporation for $3,800, and this purchase was made on credit mode. Measuring the lodge has not yet paid for the equipment but has agreed to pay suppliers at a later date because this purchase takes place on credit mode. To reflect this transaction in the financial records, we need to make the journal entries that increase the inventory and records the liability to the suppliers. Here, the purchase takes place on credit mode. So we need to increase the inventory and records the liability to suppliers. So the amount of inventories is increased, and also the amount of accounts payable is increased. The inventory account is increased because the lodge now has 3,800 worth of new outdoor equipment, and accounts payable is increased because this account increases by 3,800 to show the purchase in on credit or on account mode. Increase in inventory considered as a debit, and increase in payment considered as credit by $3,800. Inventory is belonging to the assets account, increase in that considered as a debit. Account payable is belonging to liability accounts, and increase in that considered as credit. Okay, for the economic scenario on December 5, Alpine Adventure Lodge received a payment in cash for the group reservation from the Adventure Group organizers. The amount received was $14,390, and this payment settled the amounts that was previously invoiced on November 5. To reflect this transaction in the financial records, we need to make the journal entry that increases the cash balance and decreases the account receivable balance as well. So for journal entry breakdowns, we want to recording these cash payments, and we need to choose two accounts. cash and accounts receivables are through two accounts that we need to use them for this record. Cash is accounts that increases because Lodge has received $14,390 in cash, so the amount of cash is increased. Cash belongs to assets accounts, and any increase in assets and its belonging accounts considered as a debit by $14,390. And the next account is account receivables. This account is decreased because the lodge no longer to expect to receive these amounts from the groups. So because we expect that no longer to receive this amount from the groups because they pay their debts one times, not more. So the total amount of the total amount of accounts receivable under the asset is decrease. Here, increase in assets considered as debit, but for accounts receivables, decrease in assets account considered as credit. As you know, both these accounts are belong to the assets, but in the first one, in the cash, increase take place, debit. In the second accounts receivable, decrease take place, so it's become credit. Both of them for same amount, 14,390. In summary, on December 5, Alpine Adventure Lodge recorded the receipt of $14,390 cash payment from the adventure group organizer. This journal entry ensured that both the increase in cash and the corresponding decrease in accounts receivable are accurately reflected in large financial records. And accurate record keeping is essential for maintaining clear financial picture and managing the large cash flow. Okay, next economic scenario. For December 9, Alpine Adventure Lodge settled a $3,800 debt out to a Swiss Alpine Gear Corporation for outdoor equipment. We need to choose two suitable and true accounts, and these two accounts include account payables and cash. The accounts payable that belong to the Swiss Alpine Gear Corporations is become debited because this account is decreased. The amounts of accounts payable is decreased by $3,800. Decrease in account payables is indicate that the total liability is decreased as well because accounts payable is belong to the liability. So total liability of the company decrease, and decrease in total liability considered as debit in the record keeping. The other account is cash. This account also decrease because the lodge has paid $3,800 in cash. We take the money from our cash and paid our debt. So the total amount of cash is decreased as well by same amount, $3,800. Decrease in cash considered as credit because cash belongs to assets, and decrease in asset accounts considered as credit. In this case, the amount is $3,800. In fact, by debiting the accounts payable, we are recording the decrease in the amounts of Lodge, also the Swiss Alpine Gear Corporations, and crediting cash reflect the reduction in Lodge cash balance due to the payments. And on summary, on December 9, Alpine Adventure Lodge recorded the payment of $3,800 to Swiss Alpine Gear Corporations, and this journal entries ensure that both the reduction in accounts payable and the corresponding decrease in the cash are accurately reflected in the large financial records. And accurate record keeping also is crucial for maintaining clear and up-to-date financial statements and managing the large liabilities and cash flow effectively. December 31st economic scenario. Let's see together what happened in this date. Alpine Adventure Lodge conducted a physical count of equipments and supplies, determining the total cost to be 182,080. However, the large accounting records showed an inventory value is 183,790, and this discrepancy indicates inventory shrinkage of 1,710. The physical inventory counts was verified by the large auditors and it deems accurate. To correct inventory records, for this case, we need to adjust the inventory value to match the physical counts. And we need to consider the accounting shrinkage that in this case equal 1710. In fact, 183,790, the amounts that the accounting record shows, minus 182,080, the amount of physical counting shows, equal 1,710. And this 1,710 shows the shrinkage in the amount of inventory because the amount of accounting records are more than the count of real physical counting. So 1710 amount of shrinkage take place in this case. But how we can record this shrinkage? We need to use two accounts for this purpose: cost of goods sold and inventory. The amount for cost of goods sold is the difference 1710. In fact, this account increase because the cost is increased and the inventory shrinkage is treated as an expenses. This shrinkage is behave as an expenses. So we need to debit cost of goods sold because cost of goods sold consider a special type of expenses. Increase in expenses consider as debit. The amount of inventory is decreased to reflect the actual inventory at hand after the physical counts. In fact, when the accounting document shows 183,790, but the real amount that show in the physical counting is lower with 1,710. So to reflect the true and real amount of inventory, we should decrease the amount of inventory. Inventories belong to the asset accounts. Decrease in inventory and assets accounts considered as credit. In fact, by debiting cost of goods sold, we account for the expense resulting from the inventory shrinkage, and crediting inventory reduces the inventory value in the accounting records to match the physical count. And as you can see, here again, inventory per accounting records equal 183,790, and accounting per physical count equal 182,080, and this is a difference 1,710, the difference between accounting records showing and physical counting indicates that show the inventory shrinkage. And now we are familiar that how we should record the inventory shrinkage in the accounting principles. In summary, for economic scenario on December 31st, Alpine Adventure Lodge recorded an inventory adjustment because of shrinkage discovered during the year and physical count, and the adjustment ensured that the inventory value in the accounting records match the actual physical counts, providing a true and fair view of the lodge inventory and expenses. Now we are certain that the fair value is shown in the inventory and expenses of lodge company. Now, let's prepare a partial income statement with together for Claypool Hardware to show that company gross profit for the years ending to December 1st. And we will use the net sales provided and calculate the adjusted cost of goods sold to determine the gross profits. The components are net sales and cost of goods sold. Net sales minus cost of goods sold equal gross profit. Net sales represent the total revenue from the sales of goods and services after deducting returns and allowance and discounts. And for this period, net sales amount is 1,024,900. And also cost of goods is total cost incurred to produce or purchase the goods sold during the periods and includes the beginning inventory purchases and adjustment for inventory shrinkage and discrepancies. The steps to calculating the cost of goods sold is initial cost of goods sold before any adjustment, and here recorded as 695,222. We try to find how we achieve to 696,932 cost of goods sold. And to find the cost of goods sold, this amount, we need to make these operations. First, initial cost of goods sold 695,222 plus shrinkage adjustment, and in this case the shrinkage adjustments equal 1,710, and the total cost of goods sold equal 696,932. The initial cost of goods sold plus any adjustment that take place during the periods, and in this case adjustment or shrinkage equal 1,710. So the amount of cost of goods is increased by 1,710, and final amount of cost of goods sold after this increase equal 696,932. And here we need to deduct this amount 696,932 from the net sales 1,024,900, and finally the gross profit equal 327,968, the amount of gross profit.